Don Muraco's going to be there. I remember him. I remember watching him when I went to California from Atlanta to first get in the business. And that's when I met Steve Borden, Sting. And they had put us in a house, put me in a house. Steve lived out there. There were two other guys. There was no furniture in the house, slept on the floor. They were supposed to provide our food. After 2 or 3 days, there was no food left except peanut butter out of a jar. And I talked before about how me and Steve used to go out to the supermarkets late at night, stand in the deli aisle, and open up the packages of meat and cheese. And we got caught one night. I've told that story. I'm not going to tell it again now. But they had, the only appliances they had was they had a refrigerator and a TV. It was like a 10-inch TV. And on Saturday mornings, WWF only had the one show at the time. Maybe they had a couple shows. I'm not sure. But I remember how mesmerized we were by Muraco, that he was just one of the greatest performers, greatest heels in the business at the time. He was in a program with Snuka, I think, at the time, which led to Snuka doing the flying splash off the top of the cage, was one of the most awesome things of all time. I mean, you see that on TV or on film and you go, yeah, man, that's pretty awesome. You stand next to a cage. I swear to you, so many guys in the business have thought to themselves, just from watching that on film, guys who pursued a career in wrestling, and thought to themselves when they see that on film, Snuka doing the flying splash, they think that if I ever get a chance to do a cage match, I'm going to do that. And you get next to that cage, you get inside that cage, you very quickly end up talking yourself out of it. But those guys were jacked back then. And Muraco was just so gruff in his demeanor. He was the embodiment of what a heel was back then. Thickly, his voice was like, I grew up in the Midwest, Indiana. Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher were the guys that were on TV. I wasn't a fan of wrestling. I never watched them, but I know those guys because I'd see them on TV once in a while. I think even when I was young, black and white TV. And I always, to explain the tone of their voice, I'd say as if they'd eaten gravel. And Muraco had the same kind of voice, and he had the same kind of presence. And I remember traveling up and down the road with him a few times, just me and him. He never was insecure or felt bad or was prejudiced that, you know, the business was changing. It was becoming sports entertainment because he was one of the old timers with all the other guys that had worked all the smaller territories, trying to pay the bills, keep the family together, all that different stuff. And then was in there at the beginning with the WWF and got the bigger paychecks and stuff, but, you know, made a lot of sacrifices over the years to stay in the business. And he always gave me good advice, and I appreciated that he did. And he was really cool. I enjoyed going up and down the road with him.